I'm here with Evie. Evie, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
So tell us about yourself and what's happening tonight. You're releasing your first book, right? So tell us a little bit about all that.
Okay, well, we're here at the Venice Art Crawl at Fig Tree Cafe, and I'm having my release party for my book Sun Gone Nova, which is a collection of cartoons that I do for the Century City newspaper. And we're all here about to get started and do a book signing and have some cake and some entertainment.
So tell me how you got started in drawing and illustrating.
Well, actually, it's a funny thing how that started. I've actually always been an artist since I could paint on the walls pretty much, as a kid. But I sort of fell into the cartooning thing, honestly. I was actually asked if I could do the cartoons for the newspaper because I was an artist, and I thought, well, I don't know if I can be funny, but I'll try. And so I ended up doing a couple of cartoons, and everybody liked them, and it just, started there and kept going.
So do you have a deadline? Like you have to have so many done by a certain day? And if you do, how difficult is that?
Well, I do try to keep just keep them going, It just depends. They come when they come, but as long as I keep doing them when they come, and get them down. But it's just trying to stay inspired, really, always looking for something to inspire me, and you have to write it down. That's the biggest key, If there's something that hits your head, you just write it down, because if you don't, it's gone, you don't get it back, and then you're wondering, what was that? I was thinking it was so funny, and it was sure it was, but...
So are you the only one in your family that is an artist, or are they all creative in some manner?
My mom was an artist, actually, and she really is the one that really trained me, taught me all about colors and how to do different techniques and stuff. But the biggest thing that, she always played a game with me that I always play with children now, because I think it's the most inspiring thing for children is you take a pen and you draw a line, and then you have the other person make a picture out of that line. And what that does is it causes you to use your creativity to come up with something, and that's been so useful to me in my life, because if something, you accidentally draw the wrong line, well, all of a sudden you can turn it into something and make it work. So.
Are there some favorite painters that you have that maybe inspired you, or just maybe helped develop your style in art? Absolutely.
I am a huge fan of the arts. I've studied Renaissance art as my favorite, of course, as most people. I do have, on occasion, made fun of some of the fine artists themselves, like Da Vinci and Michelangelo. My actual favorite artist is Van Eyck. He is a Flemish artist, a Flemish painter, and very detailed. I don't paint anything like him. But I like to make kind of make fun of the artists, actually, in a lot of my cartoons, because I don't think they get made fun of enough. People revere them too much. They need to be brought down too.
Now, Van Eyck. Now, didn't he have a painting where he had painted himself in the eye of the painting?
Arnolfini wedding portrait. Whereas in the background, there's a convex mirror that has, it actually has the Station of the Cross on it, I believe, and he supposedly painted himself in that mirror, painting them. But there's also spots where you can see images of him in the armor of a knight, and just little things like that. And one of my favorites is how he wrote his name on the wall in the background of the Arnolfini wedding. But do you know that one? I love that one, and it's like graffiti. As Van Eyck was here. I love that.
So can we find little you somewhere in your drawings?
Absolutely. If you can find them.
Yeah. So can we look for your name? Evie was here somewhere in your painting?
That's a good, I might have to do that one, actually. Just a little homage. But I have copied a couple of room styles from the Renaissance and some pieces of Van Eyck, just my own little, secret little things to myself that I like to remind me.
Now, on that note, do you have some drawings or paintings that are actually, Renaissance based? Since you brought that up, very detailed and very, along that genre.
I do actually. I haven't in a while, but when I was learning to draw and paint and all that, that was, these were my idols. So that's who I tried to emulate. I think, well, if I can do this, and it's funny because doing cartoons, people don't realize that I could do those. So when they see them, they actually get kind of surprised. They're like, oh, I didn't know you could paint or draw. I think, well, no, actually, I think you have to start there. You have to start with the rules to know how to break them. Well, everybody says that. It's true.
Is it true with your painting, your serious painting and your cartooning? Well, that's also serious. But do you start off with an idea and then work towards an actual goal, or is it just, the process and you kind of go with it till it's finished?
Usually I start out with some sort of concept, whether it's the image itself or the words, just a concept, even something small like a lock and a key might pop into my head, and then all of a sudden there's something that builds from that. But I try to get my ideas from things that people can relate to, things that that in your own life, things that you might have wondered about or been curious about, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, right. So, why don't you have a web address? Why don't you give us your web address so people can find out more about you and see some of your work?
Yes, if you go to rylandgallery.com, www.ryland.gallery.com, you can see not only my cartoons, but some of the other stuff I'm working on, like the children's books coming along. I don't think I have much up there about that right now, but some of the fine art that I'm doing, that's line art as well, pen and ink, that's going to be up there. And see what's going on, other events that I've got planned.
Evie, thanks for being with us. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I really appreciate being here. It was very nice to meet you.